Hello YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming and I've got some Dread Elves to review. As one of the members of the community engagement group on the forum, we've been assigned to review different parts of the Dread Elves book. The new one coming out, the Alpha Lab, we've been all pretty excited about it, and I've gotten the chance to review the Raiders and Destroyers, really the major shooting elements of the new Dread Elf book. And here we go. Let's take a look at it, give you some thoughts, give you some feedback, talk about how I think they're going to do on the tabletop.
Yes, the Raiders. This is kind of a classic category for the Dread Elves in terms of sort of fluff and sort of what Dread Elves like to do. The Raiders, they come to night, they steal the children, they steal the babies. I don't know why they steal the babies, but, they kidnap people. And they wreak havoc in the night, and pretty much no other unit does this better than the Black Cloaks, which are the only unit in the Raiders category. It's important to note that there are still units that will count towards your max 20% for your Raiders, and that's pretty much the same thing as before. Your Dread Lead or your auxiliaries, I think it's called a raiding party, Corsairs. I think that's now their new name in Core. If they have throwing weapons, they'll count towards Raiders, and then your Shadow Riders, which are going to be covered in the special review, are also with repeater crossbows. They also count towards Raiders. So, but let's take a look at these Black Cloaks. So you got Black Cloaks for 150 points. You get 5 models. You may add up to 5 more for 27 points per model. So if you take a unit of 10, talking about 285 points. It's not too bad. You can take 0 to 3 units per army, and then a 0 to 20 models per cap per army. So you could have a unit of 10, 2 units of 5, 2 units of 10. You got all those options. Hunting bolas is an interesting rule for them, in that hunting bolas, if I'm correct, actually, let me take a peek back at the beginning of the book. Special rules should have already been covered at this point. And yes, the roll for the fleet distance enemy units is minimized. So that's sort of a feature on some of the different Raider units, which is an interesting rule, which is a close combat rule, actually, which one of the things I've been thinking about as I look through Israel's book is just sort of thinking about how almost everything in this book can fight in close combat now, just by the fact that they have ruthless efficiency. And I wouldn't say the Black Cloaks are any different. They have paired weapons. They have poison attacks. They only get paired weapons now. I know previously they used to have access to gray weapons, which I thought was pretty sweet when I played Dread Elves. But they're definitely still decent enough in combat. They have light armor now, which I think is kind of nice. Get some of those 6-up armor saves against a fireball. And yeah, overall, I mean, they're still great at what they do. Their shooting choices change quite a bit. So now they have a repeater handbow, which is now 12 inches. It's accurate, so you can be at 12 inches still and shoot and still get all your shots and still be accurate. And it's strength 3, AP 1. So these guys have 2 shots apiece, hitting in 3-ups. So that's and it's quick to fire. So that's actually pretty solid shooting output. I mean, a unit of 20 of these guys, or 10 of these guys, you got 20 shots. You're hitting on 3s, you're getting something like 15, 16 shots, and then depending on your resilience 3, you're talking 7, 8 wounds, AP 1. That's not bad. That could really peel some wounds off some like infantry units. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see how these guys do. Part of me wishes, since they did get their range reduced, because obviously, previously Shadow Cloaks had repeater crossbows, which had 24-inch range. Now their range has been cut in half. I wouldn't have actually minded something to their scout rule if that could change. I don't know. That might be a lot too much wording if it could be a little bit shorter. But at the very least, I think Black Cloaks are still very feasible. 150 points for 5 guys is great. I think you'll still see these, and they'll still do well. So now let's look at the destroyers. So the destroyers is max 15% of your army, so that's about 600 points, or a little bit over 600 points in a 4,500 point list. Which basically what it comes down to when we look at destroyers is you get 3 of these pieces in your army, which I think you will see a combination of 3 of these models, I would say, in almost every Dread Elf army, because I think these are great units. So the first thing you have is a hunting chariot, which is a large construct, 5,500. You can have 0 to 3 models, which I think is awesome. 200 points, pretty standard Elven chariot stats. Fast 9, March 9, Discipline 8. It also has the hunting bolus, which is kind of actually quite nice, I would say, considering a chariot can fight a little bit more than could some other things, because it's got the impact hits and everything. It's got armor 4-up with armor 2 and light armor, or 4-up with armor 2 and light armor. It's fine, it's okay in combat. It's got light lances. They got +1 wound still with ruthless eventually, so I mean, they're not too bad, honestly. The main thing you're taking it for though is this Dragonbane's Harpoon. So the Dragonbane's Harpoon, which I think is a great name, is range 18, shots 1, strength 6, AP 10, multiple wounds D3, quick to fire, reload. A model with towering presence that has lost at least 1 or more health points due to an attack with the shooting weapon loses fly and swift stride until the next player turn. Love it. I think that's fantastic. Not only do I really like that it has towering presence, which I think is so much more broad than, say, something like gigantic. It's a great special rule on top of a multi-wound strength 6 shot, because a lot of monsters have swift stride, and a lot of towering presence things have swift stride, and a lot of towering presence things have fly. So I mean, that's I think really effective, really powerful, and a great way to put wounds on monsters. You have an effective range of 27 with an advanced 9, 18-inch shot. The only thing this thing is suffering from is kind of long range, and cover, of course, and hard target. So I mean, it has some shooting restrictions. It also hits on a 3-up. So I mean, if you're long range on a 4-up, that's solid. Especially if you are 18 inches away from that monster and they lose swift stride, the chances of them now getting into combat against you are incredibly reduced. And if on the chance they charge and they have a long failed charge, and you can slip 9 inches out of their arc of sight and get short range the next turn, that's incredible. So yeah, I think the hunting chariot is fantastic. I could definitely see people just running 3 of them in a list instead of the repeater battery. Speaking of the repeater battery, I think that it's also solid still. It changed quite a bit. It's 200 points now, so it got a little bit more expensive. It's on a 60mm round, which I believe is bigger, which I thought was interesting when I was looking at this. I mean, it's a war machine, so it's got the normal stats there. It hits on a 3-up still. It's now range 24 with 8 shots, strength 5, AP 2, and it can move or shoot. So this is just such a fascinating war machine. I mean, it's very different, and I know we've seen some sneak peeks of it, and I know we've seen some. At least I've seen a battle report a couple months ago with somebody using them, and yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. Personally, I would still take. I mean, I could still see people taking 3. Strength 5, AP 2 is brutal. That'll rip through infantry. That'll rip through monsters. I think it's great. Yeah, I mean, I thought Strength 4 AP 2 was good before, but I mean, Strength 5 is incredible, and 8 shots is fantastic. So yeah, I think you'll very much see repeater batteries still rocking around, still doing what they do. I mean, I think it's the 24 inches obviously is a big change from 48, because previously Dread Elf armies, if they wanted, they could just sit back and just shoot. And I mean, the push for Dread Elves is get this army into combat, and I think this is sort of something that supports that, and that these things are moving along with your elves, They're kind of closer to battle line, and they're sort of still pumping out shots together. So yeah, I mean, I think it's quite interesting. I would like to see one of these things move within short range, so they could just really blow apart a unit, which is interesting. But yeah, I'll be very curious to see the combinations of destroyers that people come up with, considering you're capped at like 675, I think, at 15%. So you can have basically 3 of these, and they're both 0 to 3. They're both 200 points. They do different things. Like the repeater battery can shoot at monsters. The hunting chariot's better at shooting at monsters. They both can move. The hunting chariot's a little bit faster. They have the same amount of HP. They're both the same resilience. The chariot's got a little bit of armor, so maybe a little survivable overall. Yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, I guess the repeater battery is the winner. But yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job with the shooting elements in the Dread book to, I think, make them very fluffy, make them very Dread Elfy, in that there really isn't too much else like these shooting units in the rest of the game. And I think my favorite is the hunting chariot. That's probably what I would run. I mean, obviously there's something great about having strength 6, AP 10 multi-wounds shots in your army, but I like that the chariots, I like that they have that rule to get rid of flying so stride. But I could even just see running 2 hunting chariots and a repeater battery to help you clear away chaff, because that would also be very effective too still. But yeah, I really like it. I give it a thumbs up. That's sort of an attaboy from Evershade Gaming for the destroyers and for the raiders. I think they both did a good job with them in designing them, and I think we'll see them on the tabletop and have to deal with them and have to figure out how to kill them still.
So yeah, that's the raiders and destroyers of the new Dread Elf Lab book. All looking pretty good. I think they did a good job balancing the shooting elements and, I mean, making them unique and different from what they were before, and not necessarily particularly worse or better ways, just very unique. It's important to remember that the community engagement group is making more content. So on December 8th, we've got the Fantasy Wargaming podcast talking about characters. We've got December 9th, we got the magic item selection, we've got an army list creation, and then we also had more content that came out earlier from today. This video is coming out on Monday, December 7th, and there's going to be full Dread Elf reviews after on the 10th. Don't forget to check out all these other podcasts or YouTube channels for all sorts of great insight and feedback and tips and thoughts on the new Dread Elf book. I'm looking forward to getting a battle report in soon against Dread Elves. I think my first game will definitely be with Empire Sonstal. Though I've never played ogres against Dread Elves, and that would be an interesting matchup too. So maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see what the ogres can do against these Dread Elves too. Everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video about the new Dread Elf Lab, and we'll see you soon with some more 9th Age content.